Hey everyone, Brian Nichols here, and before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to take a moment and address something important. As you may have noticed, we're doing things a little bit differently with this particular episode, and due to the controversial and frankly emotionally charged nature of the topic being discussed during today's episode, we have made the executive decision to exclusively air today's video version of the podcast exclusively over on X.com, formerly Twitter. That's right. If you want to watch this full conversation with Alan and Taylor Martin about their daughter Trista's tragic story and their fight for vaccine safety, you will only be able to find the video version of the show over on X.com, as well as the podcast version over at briannicholsshow.com. Now, I know that some of you may be used to watching our episodes on platforms like Facebook or YouTube, but unfortunately, those platforms have a very noted history of censoring and suppressing content that doesn't align with the narrative being pushed by the bureaucratic establishments and the so-called experts. And we believe firmly here at the Brian Nichols Show and over at AMP America that Trista's story deserves to be heard. And we don't want to have a risk of having this important conversation silenced. So don't worry, if you prefer to listen to the audio version of the show, you can still find it over at your usual places. Just head over to your favorite podcast app, search for The Brian Nichols Show. You'll be able to listen to this episode and all of the other great content without any risk of censorship or suppression. That's why we do a podcast. Now, I know only getting the video version of the show over on X.com may be a bit of an inconvenience for some of you, but I truly believe that this is a conversation that 1000% needs to be had. And we can't blindly trust the experts and the bureaucrats to make decisions for us when it comes to something as important as our health and the health of our loved ones. We need to be able to be informed, and we need to be able to make our own choices. So if you're ready to hear the full story of Trista and her family's fight for justice, head over to X.com and watch the video version of this episode. And again, if you prefer to listen, just make sure you're subscribed to the Brian Nichols Show podcast on your favorite podcasting app. And with that being said, I want to thank all of you for your support and for being part of this important conversation, because at the end of the day, together, it's us working with each other to fight for transparency, accountability, and the right to make our own informed decisions that will actually make a difference. As always, if you find value in the content we're creating here at the Brian Nichols Show, please share it with your friends and your family. Hey, let's spread the word. Let's start a dialogue about the safety of the jabs, and one that frankly isn't censored or suppressed. So if you are joining us here on YouTube and Facebook, head over to X.com for the full conversation. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.